Me pretty busy, even when I'm not in the
Leandra Riley along with Peter Vidmar. 6 teams, as we have mentioned, have advanced, and you are looking at the first half of the team from China. This is Jiang Yingzhu. She is competing, obviously, on the uneven parallel bars. They are ranked 4th overall. This order of competition now is drawn from a hat. So even though they are in 4th, they are going first in the second round.
And this is traditionally a very strong event for the Chinese. Oh, and she missed that front flip.
And in a competition like this,
that will knock them right out.
That's a fatal flaw.
And she's a little bit stuck. I think she's really lost her composure here. She's had to really cover up in this routine. Chances are now she's just going to set up for a dismount. There's a giant and a double backflip. That's going to cost them. And I doubt they're going to make it back.
That has to be very difficult when you end up facing the wrong direction and you have to create while you're up there.
It seemed to me like she held on a little bit too long on that skill. She crosses over, she holds on a little bit too long onto the bars, and she's already right into them, and there's just no way that she can stay on. She caught the bar with her wrists, and so that bounced her hands right off, and then she never even had a chance to grab the bar.
Moving over to the rings, her demoralized teammate now, Wang Shengxiang, is going to do the best he can, but he knows that it's over for them.
Nonetheless, I'm sure he still wants to do a great routine. And he's very, very strong. It's a backup rise to an inverted cross. And a whip it to an iron cross. Kip to an L. Now he'll press up to a handstand, do a series of swinging movements to a handstand. The giant has a little bit of a swing. Backup rise to a handstand, and he gets ready for his dismount. Giant dislocate, double layout.
Wang Shengxiang dismounting from the rings. His teammate Jiang Yingzhu received an 8.85 on her uneven parallel bar routine.
Now we see his dismount. There's a giant dislocate. There's a beautiful double layout with just a minor hop at the very end. It's a lot of lift, very stretched body. But they're going to be out of the competition.
And her face tells the entire story.
She's not pleased with that routine. I'm sure she's going to go back home and do a lot more of them and do them right.
Managing a smile, though. Somebody's trying to cheer her up. Her teammate is.
They have got to be some of the friendliest athletes in the world.
So the team from China, disappointing in the second round, had a great first round, had a great future in front of them, but one slip on the uneven parallel bars ended that. They had a 19.4. All the scores are carried over from the first round. It's a cumulative total. Now, if everybody in the competition from here on out falls off the apparatus, this team is very much alive.
That's right.
And I somehow feel that's not going to happen. Only 3 from this round will compete in the final round. There's their total, 37.84. Of course, that puts them in first place by virtue of the fact that they've gone first, but that won't last for long. Our next competitor is a young lady from Italy that we just saw moments ago vaulting. Patrizia Lucconi is going to compete. She chose for her second apparatus the uneven parallel bars.
8.85. 18.45 the combined score. We continue on now with pair number 12 from Italy. On uneven bars.
You mentioned the fact about her attire and that it is mostly synthetic fabric, and you think that might be a detriment in performing.
Well, apparently the shinier the leotard, that means the more synthetic the fabric, and so it doesn't breathe quite as well as if it would have a cotton fiber in it. And they can really sweat in those leotards. They're very attractive, but they're not necessarily the most comfortable ones to wear. And here she gets ready for her uneven bar routine. Half turn, kip up to a handstand. A reverse heck. Kip. She's very powerful. That was a little bit weak as she went over there. That's a little bit of a cover-up. Now she's going to have to make up something. This is going to cost them.
The extra swing is 5/10 right there.
Yeah, and she's making some more extra swings. I think she's kind of lost her composure.
And it's funny because half the folks at home see nothing wrong with this routine.
Right. That's right. Well, she doesn't break her form, but she just missed a couple tricks. There's a double back flip. Landed well. And her teammate's going to have to perform very, very well to keep them in this competition. Now, I think the mistake really came kind of towards the beginning. She did a very nice Tkachev, which is the reverse heck, and we see that coming up right here. She swings down and does a reverse heck back over the bar, but then here she does a kip, and as she goes up to a handstand, she doesn't quite make it to the handstand. She goes over the handstand, then she has to do the turn, and she doesn't have enough swing to finish the next skill.
So you think she wanted to end up facing the other way, and that caused the trouble. Her teammate, Paolo Bucci, has elected to compete on the high bar.
I am very impressed with the young Italian men gymnasts. They have a great junior program, and he's a product of it. They're very, very good on the horizontal bar. There's a Ganger. It's a flyaway with a half turn.
His coach stepped in there. Is that?
Well, if you touched him, technically it should be a dismount. It's nice to have that security. There's a beautiful full turn into an inverted giant. This routine is somewhat of a stock routine. I haven't seen a lot of difficulty in it. He sets up this a double twist, double back dismount though. Very, very hard to do. It's done quite well. I say the routine was somewhat stock, but the dismount was very difficult, and that's probably where he gets those extra superiority credits. Now here's this full pirouette into an inverted giant, right up and over the top. This is a great angle to see it. Look how he places his hand. Almost looks like he didn't make it. Very, very nice. That's a scary trick to do. Now here's his dismount. He does a double twisting, double back flip, and he lands perfectly. Really, really done nicely. You notice how he got that twist right off the bar because he has to twist so much before he hits the ground.
Paolo Bucci. His teammate received a 9-2 for her uneven parallel bar routine. If he receives a 9.55 or better, he will overtake first place, but that's kind of a moot point since China also had a bad performance on their uneven parallel bar set. Paolo trying to cajole his teammate as we move now to the floor exercise. This is the German Democratic Republic, and this is Simone Hopperat.
And Simone mounts with a round off back handspring, double back flip. It's not one of the most difficult mounts. But they really use some powerful music now in these floor exercise routines. And they round off punch straddle, punch front. There's a little Star Wars music there. And now she goes into her next tumbling pass. It's a round off, back handspring, full twist, back handspring, back handspring, double fall. That's a lot of flips and just that short space to tumble on. People don't realize how important some of these turns are that the girls do. When they do a lot of these pirouettes, it's so important that they stay off their heel, they stay on their toe, and that's an important part the judges are really looking for. And although some of these skills don't look so hard, a lot of people are just looking for the tumbling passes. Those are just as difficult to look for. She dismounts with another double back, and she's set down. A little bit of a cover-up, but
she didn't fool you.
Yeah, she didn't fool me. I don't think she'll fool the judges either.
Simone Hopperat, now taking a seat after a tumbling pass, is that like a fall?
Oh, it is like a fall. I don't know if it's a full 5/10 of a deduction dismount. I think she planned to use that skill and fall down to her seat a little bit more gracefully, but here I think you can see that it was a mistake.
Too much power? Or?
Well, no. She tucked her knees in. She was a little bit tired, and she wanted to get those feet under for the landing, and she just fell right back down. Cute cover-up, though.
Simone Hopperat. She and her teammate are fifth as we look at Uf Hoffman, who's already begun his parallel bar routine.
Uf's a very powerful gymnast. It's a mana. He swings up to a beautiful routine. He's doing a lot of very difficult skills. Healy twirls to a front flip, another Healy twirl. Stutz to a handstand. And a double back dismount. A little hop and a step. That's going to cost him a bit. These routines don't seem to be as crisp as the first round, so we're really gonna separate the best teams right here.
It sounds like your advice has been followed, in that everybody put their strongest event first, and now we're seeing the fall in the caliber.
Yeah, they look a little bit tired. Here's his Stutz setting up for his double back dismount. It was a good dismount, and it was almost secure in the landing, but he just had to take that little hop forward, and that's just a deduction that he really doesn't need right now.
Simone Hopperat received a 9.6 for her floor exercise routine, and that has been the best female performer in the second round by 0.4. So that takes some of the pressure off of Ulf Hoffmann. So far, the best male score in the second round has been 9.6 by China's Wang Chongsheng. So the German Democratic Republic is certainly in a strong position to move up to 4th place. Currently, they are in 5th place, I'm sorry. He received a 9.6 for his routine.
Very good. Now we have to realize that only one American team is allowed to advance to that final round. And so they look pretty secure in moving on.
All right, after 3 performers, 1st place right now belongs to the German Democratic Republic. But remember, the top 3 performers have not yet competed yet. So the German Democratic Republic is 1st in this second round. In 2nd place is China, and in 3rd place is Italy. Their total 38.35 for the German Democratic Republic. China with a 37.8. And we will be back with our top 3 seeds of this second round, the USA and the USSR, after these messages. The second round is about to compete. The USA and the USSR are about to go head-to-head with only the top 3 advancing to the final round. The Soviet Union will go first. Irina Baraksanova is going to compete on the uneven parallel bars. Her teammate Alexei Tikhontik is going to compete on the parallel bars. Irina is up first. The USA, as you had mentioned, Peter, is going to compete in the second round with 2 teams, the Christy Phillips-Brian Ginsberg tandem along with the Tracy Calori-Tim Daggett tandem. But only one, as you mentioned, can go to the 3rd and final round. So that means the German Democratic Republic, by virtue of that rule, will advance to the final round.
Yes, they did want to make this rule where they want to give some Americans a chance to compete in this meet. It's their home country and their home court, yet they do want to make it fair and try to keep the international flavor of the event and make sure that only one American team can advance to that final round.
This is Alexei Tikhontik. He is chalking up the rails, preparing them for his routine, while he waits for his compatriot Irina Baraksanova to begin her mount on the uneven parallel bars.
Boy, Alexei is great on the parallel bars.
Irina better be good on the unevens.
That's right. Beautiful free hip hop to a handstand and a straddle front flip, drop down to the low bar, stalled her half turn, up to the high bar. She had a little problem, I thought, at the very beginning of that routine. Giant and a double pike dismount. Very, very difficult. She took a little step, but that's a very difficult dismount to land.
And the uneven parallel bars has been the Waterloo for most of the women in this second round, but not so for Irina Baraksanova.
I wonder if with these American parallel bars, they're a little bit different, and I wonder if they're having some problems with their grip. She's getting set up for this giant into a double pike dismount, and she does it quite well. Legs straight, and she takes that little step.
And now we are over at the parallel bars where Alexei Tikhontik is getting ready to compete. These are our leaders after the first round by 0.05 of a point. Alexei and Irina.
And boy, can he swing on the parallel bars. He does a very long routine, too. A cast, front toss, hop pirouette to handstand, stitch to a handstand, giant swing to a handstand, a Diamidov, every trick in the book. Another stitch, pirouette, and now watch this. 2 back tosses in a row, setting up for that dismount. And he does a beautiful double pike. Little hop. What a routine.
Crowd appreciates that one. Irina Baraksanova received a 9.7 for her uneven parallel bar routine as we take another look at Alexei's parallel bar routine.
Okay, now he does a pirouette. He's going to do 2 back tosses in a row. They're basically back layouts right to a handstand. He does another one right to a handstand. Then he does a double pike, and he does a very high one. It's difficult to get lift off the bars. Takes a little hop.
They better check his hand for liquid nails. That guy's up there.
And he is incredible. Very powerful gymnast. I've seen him for many years.
As he moves over to the official position to receive the double score for himself and Irina Baraksanova. Remember, she received a 9.7. That is the best female score so far in this second round, with Simone Hopperat receiving a 9.6 for her floor exercise routine.
It looks like it's going to be tight down to those last routines.
He received a 9.7 meaning the total for the Soviet Union tandem is 38.90. Handily, they are in first place, but we have two teams from the USA yet to compete. And when we come back from this commercial message, we will see the USA, but please don't go away.
For exercise, Christine